Okay. Let me just set the stage a little bit here. The night was December 29th, 2018. And Aaron comes over, and we get in the car to head down to a concert. This concert is the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, their 20th anniversary tour, down in Detroit at the Dojo.
Yes.
And we get in the car, and we leave in the driveway, and I turn to Aaron, and I say, when's the last time you saw TSO? And you responded,
It's like I never have.
holy shit! I had no idea I was taking you to the first time of your first TSO experience. My history with them goes back to 2000. I actually do know the answer. 2007 would have been the first time I saw the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It would have been like December 7th. I think I just turned 18. I was 18 for like a week, and we went to that show. And it was me, Preston's dad, and this Preston's a guitar teacher at the time, actually, this guy named Rick, who, like, did you ever see the videos of the girls going crazy when the Beatles came to America? Yeah, that's Rick for TSO, okay? I'm talking this man was sitting in his chair while they were playing, like, so into, like, it just as into Iron Maiden, like, as I would be if I were watching Iron Maiden front row. But he's sitting in a seat, like, losing his mind. It was fucking incredible. And that started a tradition. We ended up going to TSO quite a few years in a row. For those of you that out there that don't know, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is a very large orchestra, and during its tour, it splits into two groups. So one of the two groups tours the East Coast, the other does the West Coast. And there's some overlap, like the West Coast, I think, does like the Illinois show and like the Florida show and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of overlap. But one year we actually did get to go down to Illinois, and we watched the West Coast show with Al Pitrelli and shit like that. That was incredible. It's been a few years, but I've seen them most years for the past 12 years now, and fucking the first time I saw them, like I said, 2007, had not been to a lot of. I had seen Iron Maiden by that point. I had seen Iron Maiden. I had been to Ozfest. I fucking had to check. I had been. And also, I think we did like a Family Values tour by then, or like no Mayhem yet, maybe. I don't know. But we had done a few shows by then. And besides Iron Maiden, like TSO just blew everyone out of the water. I'd never seen anything like that. From the first time I saw them to the first time you saw them, like, there is no way 12 years ago me would have believed that what we just saw was even possible. Like, it was fucking insane, dude. Like,
no.
So that's my little. How was your fucking experience watching them for the first time?
I still think about it. Like,
oh yeah.
Pretty much ever since, like, I don't know why. Turn that down a little bit. Check. Yeah. When I was. Because, like, I had kind of known at least a little bit of what to expect. Because I'd seen clips and stuff, and, like, you know, all the stuff that I'd seen you post or whatever. And,
yeah.
And I think my parents went, like, 2 years ago or something.
That's why I thought you had been, because I remember you telling me your parents went.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got them tickets and stuff, and they went. And then, like, after I saw their pictures and stuff, and, like, the seats and everything, and some of the video, I was like, I gotta check this out. And I think last year I was trying to, but I didn't end up working out or whatever for whatever reason. And so this year I think it was like spontaneous. Like, you asked me. Like,
it was, yeah.
Like
the night before,
yeah.
I think, yeah.
I was like, shit. But yeah, no, it was incredible, man. Like, you know, kind of like what you're saying. Like, in terms of like stage shows and stuff, I don't really think that. I mean, I can't really think of any that compare to it. 'Cause it's, you know.
I mean, in terms of, okay, there used to be this guy at the shop that I used to work at, Great Lakes Glass and Vape. He used to come in, and you and I have a couple friends. When we posted that we were at that show, a couple of our friends commented, "Hey, we worked on that set." So there are people that do that. That's their profession. They build these massive sets when they come to town, stuff like that. One guy I know from high school actually does all that and like lighting and fireworks down in Disneyland. So like whenever the fireworks go off around Cinderella's castle, like he's one of the guys doing it and shit like that. So I'm aware of these kind of professions. One guy that used to come into the shop did that for. I'm sure our buddies actually probably knew him. But he actually went on tour with who was it? Can't remember who it was, but it was somebody we know. We don't love, but someone we know. And I was like, well, shit, that's fucking cool, man. But he had worked on the Trans-Siberian Orchestra show when it had, I think only when it had come to Lansing. And so maybe I could be wrong about that. But I asked him, I was like, is there anyone else with a bigger set that you personally at least have ever worked on? Like, does anyone have a bigger, badder light show than the Trans-Siberian Orchestra? And he said one person. And it really broke me. His answer was Justin Bieber.
Oh, no.
But
I don't know how true that is now.
I don't know. It's not even true now because I don't think Bieber tours at the moment, at least. But mainly, think about that. That means to compare to the light show of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, you have to currently be the #1 selling artist in the world, pretty much, to compare. And this was like 3-4 years ago now. You know, this was back when Bieber was big.
Wow.
So
that's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Really.
So that look, I saw the only in metal, the only one that compares is Iron Maiden. Especially with what I've seen of this Legacy of the Beast tour, and even the tour we saw him on. Like, they're the only ones that come close to comparing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're one for that tour looks.
Oh my
crazy.
god! Oh my god! It looks so fucking good. So mad it's not coming to Michigan. But you know, I saw the Slayer tour this year, going again, or saw the Slayer tour last year. I'm going again this year. And, like, if we're talking on the basis of lights and pyrotechnics, Trans-Siberian Orchestra has more. That's just, you know, that's all I'm saying, is their light show and their fire show and their laser show is the best you'll ever fucking see. And if you're a fan of, you know, that kind of stuff and fantastic fucking music, like, these are world-class musicians that we're watching do their thing, go crazy on that stage, like... My God, it is a hell of a show. It's fucking. I wish your first experience with them had been us being able to see them before Christmas as opposed to after.
Yeah.
That's kind of, you know, but
that was the only thing that kind of took me out of it a little bit.
A little, yeah. It definitely. I think this is the second time I've seen them after Christmas, besides when they do a spring tour, which they occasionally do. And yeah, it's, you know, it's not quite the same, but it really still is, you know, magical. Like, it's fucking magic that we're watching happen, and it's fucking, God, like, they're so fucking good. And, you know, the narrator, the story, the story. So for people that don't know, there's like two halves of the show. The first half is like they'll pick a story from either one of their albums or the DVD. And then the second half will just be fucking Beethoven's Fifth, Requiem, and fucking all this chaos, awesomeness. That's where all the fucking pyrotechnics get started and everything. So, yeah, it's an unbelievable show.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, you don't even like even if you're just like a fan of music, I feel like it's something to check out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like. You know, it's got that extra like added, you know, holiday theme to it, but it's not like, you know, like when I was watching it, like, yeah, that was, you know, that was a part of it, but I didn't feel like that was the main focus of it. I felt like,
yeah, we're not sitting here singing Jingle Bells, like, you know.
Yeah, well, and just, you know, like, because I wasn't. I mean, you really don't even need to be too familiar with their music either.
No,
you know,
no.
It's just something that you can just show up and enjoy as far as like just like the show aspect of it, and just Like there was
Absolutely.
there was one point I caught it on video too. I was sitting there like, you know, because like at one end of the stadium there's that, like, they had the big like TSO thing with the flames on it and stuff,
Yep.
and then on the other half that was closer to us was the actual stage and stuff, and I was like, I don't know where to look, like I don't know
Yeah.
what to look at and stuff, and
That's,
so,
you know, the fact that everyone is seated during their performance enables them to essentially turn the entire floor into the stage.
yeah.
They can run up and down the aisles. They can have a platform towards the back of the floor that they you know, get lifted up on. Whereas, you know, a band like Iron Maiden that's going to have a general admission floor, that would never work. It would never be able to happen. So,
Yeah.
you know, they take advantage of, you know, the situation in a way, in a very clever, brilliant, amazing, spectacular way. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, like there's always something going on too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Yeah.
there's never, you know, like they, you know, cut off the lights for a second, like between songs or whatever. But after that, it's all like, you know,
It's back on.
yeah. Like I felt like I was watching a play,
Kind
little
of.
bit, you know, like
Kind of.
It had, you know, I don't know, it was cool.
I could see that. Like, it's not
like
even a music.
theater. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It would even be hard to say a musical play because these are just straight up songs. Like,
Yeah.
these aren't. You know what I mean? But yeah, and it's also the kind of thing that you can definitely come in cold and have you'll have an amazing experience. But also, if you want to go deeper, like, the fucking records and the stories that go along with the records are, you know, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Paul O'Neill, one of the greatest fucking story writers ever. Like, he was a fucking genius, and he wrote all that shit. Like, Night Castle especially is by far my favorite. Like, that story, fucking amazing. Better than like most movies in terms of the story. Like, it's not generic at all. You don't, you know, it's hard to figure out where the fuck this is going, but like, you're really, you know, invested and interested, and yeah, it's fantastic. I highly recommend everybody. You can go online and find the story, but buy the fucking album and read the story along with the music.
Yeah. That's something I definitely appreciate about them. Is, you know, they not only are they, you know, stellar musicians and stuff, but they also just put a lot of, you know, time and, you know, creativity into writing these big epics and stuff, and just the way it translates over on the stage or whatever is, you know,
Hell yeah.
something that I wish, you know, more was a little, like, happen a little more often.
Me too. Yeah. Me
yeah.
too. That's so yeah. Yeah, that was our experience at Transperian last year.
Yeah,
And,
last year now.
But, you know, I think because it didn't happen this year, I'm fairly confident to say that when they come to Detroit next year, it'll be before Christmas. What usually happens, because they always play Detroit and Grand Rapids, and they usually rotate which one's before Christmas and which one's after. And this year Grand Rapids was before, but I like the Dojo way more than Van Andel, especially for this. So even though Van Andel is a very good arena, a very good venue, that's where I saw Slayer front row, and it was incredible. So yeah, let's chug along here. It was quite the day yesterday, wasn't it?
If you were paying attention,
Yesterday was quite the motherfucker of a day.
And it was really like one after another. Like I saw the first one and
Rapid
then
fire.
scrolled up a little bit and I was like, oh hey, there's another one, and then there was this other, you know.
Jesus Christ. So fucking like 3 giant tours got announced yesterday. All of which that I think I'm intending on going to. First up, hitting Detroit on 4/26, Pontiac, Michigan, the Crowfoot, which I've been to, but I've never actually seen a show there. So I'm really looking forward to this. It is the Chaos Incarnate Tour 2019. We're going to have Uncured. We're going to have... Motherfucker, I can't read that shit.
I think
I can't read the name. It's
Buried. I think it's buried beneath.
Buried above ground.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Uncured, buried above ground, Fallujah, Spite, Recorruptor, which made an appearance on our top filthy 15 list.
No shit, I didn't know they got on that.
On our list?
No, on that tour or on that date.
Or sorry, not Recorruptor, Revocation.
Oh.
Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot.
They do have a similar logo. They do have.
They do.
I see it. Why you?
Revocation, their new album made it on our list. And then it's probably some sort of co-headlining situation between Dying Fetus and Whitechapel.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Which is interesting because usually Dying Fetus headlines.
I've seen them do a lot of co-headliners though. I have seen this kind of thing before.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see like the response to it because of just how like drastic the two like the differences are. Like
they are very different. Well, I mean,
they are.
Everyone on the bill.
It's pretty.
It's an extraordinarily diverse bill.
Yeah.
In terms of the subgenres. Spite doesn't sound like anybody else. Revocation doesn't sound like anybody else. Yeah, like this is. And then on the Michigan date, at least, we're going to have Exploding Zombies there. It looks like there's 24 dates. People, like, go to this show. It's up here in Michigan, at least, it's $25 fucking dollars. And they also have good deals on VIP packages for meet and greets with the Whitechapel and everything.
Cool.
That would be pretty cool. Good deals, too. Like, it's $70, $80, something like that. Not bad at all. But this is like a fucking festival level lineup, and it's very inexpensive. It's a fantastic tour, and I'm definitely gonna check this one out. I'm really excited to see Revocation and Spite. I got really into them this year.
Mm-hmm.
I've never gone deep into Dying Fetus, so now I'll have a reason to. I did go into deep with Whitechapel last year because we saw them at the Michigan Metal Fest. I'd like to talk to them about them for a moment.
Yeah, I think I saw it. Well, I know I saw them twice last year.
Yeah. Yes, you did. I only saw them once.
Yeah.
Whitechapel, our boys over in Whitechapel. They have a new album coming out, which I am going to purchase. Is it called The Valley?
Yeah.
Okay, so new album called The Valley. A few singles out already. I don't. Like, honestly, a band like Whitechapel, a band like Thy Art Is Murder, these real, the more extreme side of things, all right? These albums, these bands do not lend themselves to singles. That's not what they do. It's not fucking, they'll put a single out because that's like the industry, what the fuck ever, but when I listen to their albums, I listen to them top to bottom. It's very rare I'm going in and finding one or two tracks and dipping out. Like, almost every time, it's top to bottom.
Yeah.
It's the way the music sounds to me. So, I don't put much stock when a band like this releases a single because I want to hear I want to judge it on the whole. You know what I mean? However, I have been vocal in the past about my dislike for bands that are known for guttural vocals going clean vocals. I do not like this trend.
Oh, there is that old thing about when I don't remember where I heard it from or who said it, but when a band changes their logo into like plain text, that's usually a bad sign.
Did they? Whitechapel didn't do that.
Yeah, they did.
No way.
Back on it was a while ago. It was back on Our Endless War. I think they switched to the.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, all the posts I see them make still have the crazy logo. Yeah, the one I know. Yeah. The only logo I know. I don't know.
Oh, well, they
like, even on the fucking
the
poster for the tour.
I think they switch between the two of them, but they definitely have
a clean logo.
Yeah. But like, and the thing that's got me kind of intrigued about
so like that probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you've seen it, but yeah, it's pretty similar like that. I think it has like a line going through it and stuff. And,
okay.
But the thing, I think they were on the. It was Phil and one of their guitar players that was on the Josta show a while back, and they were talking about because I guess it's a pretty like heavy like. in terms of like lyrics and stuff. Because I think it's a concept. I'm pretty sure it's a concept.
I think it's a concept about the murders of Whitechapel.
Well, I think it's more so like his like life, like his.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was on.
It's more like a memoir thing, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he posted this. I don't know if it was today or if it was late or like earlier on or later on. It was a picture of his house, his like childhood house and stuff, and he said like I don't know, had there's some text.
A fantasy awakes, a dark
you know.
desire to watch you slip away into oblivion. #third depth with it. Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't.
Which is the name of the new single, I believe. Yes, that we're talking about right now. And I just read the caption of the post of the house you talked about.
Oh, that was. Well, I don't know. That was. It must have been different. I think it was probably on his personal.
Oh, okay.
Instagram, but yeah, it said something about like. Because I guess when he was, growing up, he lost both his parents and stuff, and, just some crazy stuff. And I guess a lot of it's all, like, like stories and stuff that happened and just crazy stuff. So, it sounds really interesting, but, yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to buy the album.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear it.
A lot of people, the last album was pretty polarizing, but I still,
What was it called? Do I not have it? I don't think I have it. I only have 2 or 3, and they were like, "This is Exile," and another one.
What was the name?
I don't think either of them are the newest. Here's the thing.
Mark of the Blade.
Oh no, I don't have that one.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Okay. Lamb of God. Besides, if gun to my head, if I had to pick a favorite band, I wouldn't be able to pick between Iron Maiden and Lamb of God.
Fair.
So Lamb of God, you could say is my favorite band or whatever. But when they did the clean lyrics on the most recent album, it really upset me because Randy Blythe said in interviews before that I am kind of interested in doing clean lyrics, but it's not. Lamb of God is not that band. If I do it, it'll be a side project, which we'll get to. But they did it on the Lamb of God album, and I was like, oh no. Not only that, I've heard Randy sing clean before, like not on an official recording, but in like, interviews or footage or this or that or whatever the fuck. And he has a really good voice. His clean singing on the album didn't sound like what I thought he sounded like at all. It sounded very different than I'd ever heard him sound while singing clean before.
Yeah.
It was very weird, and I personally was not a giant fan of it because it sounded a lot like what a lot of clean singers on the radio sound like. It sounded like I don't know if it was overproduced or I don't know. But I've heard him sing clean before, and it didn't sound like that. How it sounds on the album, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, and it sounds radio rocky, and that's exactly the same way I felt about this new Whitechapel song. I've never heard him sing clean before. I don't follow them as closely, but it just okay. I'm coming from a time. I haven't listened to the radio in a good 10 fucking years, but go turn the clock back to 2008-9. Your standard radio rock singer. I don't fucking know. Anyone who was on the radio at the time, besides the few good ones from now on. You know what I mean? It's just kind of what they sound like. Generic, kind of generic. Like wasn't particularly.
Yeah.
I felt like they could do I'm like you're better than this. Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it just didn't come out on the album. Maybe it just didn't hit my ears right. That's just the way this is the way I felt about these 2 particular songs out of the entire artist's catalog.
Yeah. Well, I went back and listened to Embers. I think is the song that has the cleans on it. Or no, it's Overlord. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think they both have a little bit on it.
Yeah. I
but,
think something.
Yeah, regardless, I don't know. It was just like kind of the same. Like I listened to it like the first time it came out, and I had kind of like a mixed feeling about it. And I went back and listened to it. I was like, oh, maybe it's not so bad. And I still wasn't really.
I'm pretty
Wasn't
sure
vibing on it.
when I first heard it, I'm pretty sure I checked the booklet to see who was the guest singer. Like I didn't recognize it as Randy
Yeah.
because I've never heard him sound like that. It was very, like, it seemed like higher range. I don't know. It was weird. You've heard. I'm sure they've heard the song. You know what I mean? But it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
I was not a particular fan. That's just the way I felt about. Even though I do love that album that song was on. That's just and and you know, it might end up being the same with this Whitechapel song. There's just one song on there. I'm like, meh, but the whole album's really fucking good. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, that single dropped today, and I was like, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, they've been getting it's been pretty mixed for the most part, as far as like whenever they put out new stuff.
I mean, as soon as it fucking kicks in, I love it.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing.
I thought the lyrics were cool.
Look,
You know.
like,
But sorry.
no, go ahead.
There's
Go
that
ahead.
because the song that they put out on Mark of the Blade is like it sounds pretty similar to the new song they put out, which is what a lot of people are saying. I think it's called like
Okay.
"Take Me Home" or something, "Bring Me Home," which is I don't know. I really liked it.
I don't
That
think
was
I heard
cool. It was different. Like it was different for them because at the time that was the first time they'd done it.
Okay.
And like I think it was kind of different because I don't think they've ever like fully written off not doing cleans and stuff. I just think that with like the music that they were writing at the time, like the earlier stuff, because it's pretty like what you think of as like modern deathcore, I guess I'd say.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know if it really fit, but I think now they're kind of like branching out a little bit and trying some different stuff
And look, like, I'm just because, like, if the next Lamb of God album has another clean vocal song on it, or even two, hopefully not, but even if they do,
you never know at this point.
even if they do, guess what? I'm still gonna buy the album. There's
Yeah.
songs on it I'm still gonna find that I'm gonna like, and I'm still going to all the fucking concerts. I'm still a fan. Like, artists are allowed to fuck around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want them to be doing. I don't have to like everything that these bands do for me to still love the band.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still just as diehard as they come, as long as there's no obvious, like, hey, everyone, we're going to write an album to be number one on the top pop station. As long as it's not an overt sellout move, then, and I don't think, I certainly don't think any of them are doing that.
Yeah.
At least Whitechapel, obviously Lamb of God. Like, no, none of them are doing that. They're opening for Lamb of God's opening for fucking Slayer.
Yeah.
Like, no. So,
And isn't it like, I don't know, because I think about this sometimes, like how do you classify, like, because when I think Slayer, I think like aren't those cleans? Like, isn't what he's doing like cleans technically?
Yeah.
Like, it's more just like
Same with Iron Maiden.
harsh yelling. Well, that's yeah.
Iron Maiden, Dio,
Yeah.
Ozzy, James Hetfield, Dave Mustaine.
Yeah, like because if you think about it like that, shit, there was a time, think about Priest,
Dude, it's fucking
Like,
Priest, for Christ's sake.
At one point
Anthrax.
at one point that like his vocals on like Painkiller.
Pantera? He was like
That was a little more
walking the blade's
Yeah.
edge. Like, he definitely slipped some straight up cleans in.
Yeah. So like I'm in that sense, and kind of with like stuff that's coming out, like I'm all for it as long as it's like it fits and it just like kind of like what you're saying, it's not like a cop out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going on here. Artists are allowed to fuck around, and I'm not some fucking I'm just. I don't like the fucking fair weathers. You know what I mean? I don't like the fuking oh, they did one thing, I don't like them out.
Yeah.
Or they're not cool anymore, I'm out. Or like someone they didn't overtly say this, but based on their body language and the way they were talking, they seemed bummed out that they went to Slayer last year because now they're coming back. And like, oh, I thought I could see them be the last time. I'm like, so you didn't just go to see fucking Slayer? You went so you could, I saw him the last time. Like, so you could have something to say? Like, you didn't just want to go see fucking Slayer? Like, are you kidding me? Oh my God, what is that? I don't get that. It's just, if I don't fucking care what the tour is called, I don't fucking care if they're saying it's the last. I don't fucking care. If they're coming to town, I want to go because it's them. I'm a fan. I want to see the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there is something to that. You know, like there's a certain, like, I don't want to.
Novelty?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that, I don't know. For lack of a better term, I guess, yeah. Like, you know, of seeing something like that where, like, you know, it's the last time you'll ever see them, or it could, you know, but I mean, nowadays, fuck, like, you don't know.
Yeah,
Bands
fuck no,
make,
you don't know.
like, bands make, like, oh, this is the last tour.
And Slayer never made any bones about, this is the only leg we're going to do. Like, it's a world tour. It's obviously going to be happening for a few years. The fucking Guns N' Roses comeback tour was like 2 or 3 years long. Like, fuck. There's rumors about them coming out with new music.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
So excited. I'd be so excited. But yeah, you know, just because a band I like drops a song that I may not particularly love, and just because I'm going to talk about it on here, doesn't mean that I'm not a fan. Tonight I'm buying a ticket to a Whitechapel concert, for Christ's sake. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, like, but I am going to talk about it if there's something I don't particularly care for. Or, you know, we talk about fucking concerts all the time. Like, if there's a band at a show that I see that, you know, I feel like phones it in or whatever the fuck, I'll mention it, you know? But if they do good next time and I see them again, guess what? I'll mention that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's we're getting both sides of the coin. I am totally fucking, you know, there's certain things I'm just never gonna not like. You know, like, people just sit back and wait for my review of Godzilla. It's going to be Oscar worthy, my friend. Best picture of the year.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be epic.
So yeah, there's definitely some things I'm unbelievably biased about, but you know.
I think the shock and the split comes with when it's such a big change. You know,
I mean,
like,
yeah, and it is pretty shock. Like, I didn't know that Whitechapel had clean lyrics on a previous album. I thought this might be the first one.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the last album. But I mean, they still made "This Is Exile." They're still
true.
playing those songs at the concerts. They're allowed to fuck around. Bands are allowed to do this. Like, but you know, there's also a great thing to be said for something like a Cannibal Corpse or a Slayer who never fuck around, and you know, the legacy precedes them. You know what I mean? Like, they are the leaders of their respected subgenres for a reason. You know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also feel as though with the little digging I have done into Whitechapel, I've watched a couple, whatever the documentaries are and stuff like that. You know, they're referred to as the Godfathers of Deathcore, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would put them, you know, if you were to make like a big four, I guess, of deathcore or whatever, I'd put them with, you know, on that list.
They definitely seem like one of the bands that, if you were to ask them about it, they're like, well, we never, you know, we just wanted to make the music we liked, you know.
Yeah.
They didn't look at it as creating a genre, you know.
Yeah.
They don't look at themselves that way. So, you know, like, they're not going for what Slayer has or what a Cannibal Corpse has. They're not going for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, they really seem to be in their, you know, their own lane. Really.
Yeah.
And
so, you know, they're allowed to do whatever the fuck they fucking want. And guess what? Like, they still got a like and a view from me on YouTube today. You know, I liked the posts. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't like the people that are like, I'm out, as soon as they hear something. Like, oh, fuck yourself.
To me, like, and maybe it's because of this fact, but like, you know, when I was first kind of trying to figure out how to do like vocals and stuff, like he was like Phil was definitely a big I don't know, influence, I'd say.
Inspiration.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, his vocal style is
dude,
different.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
And that was
powerful.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Tiny little man.
Dude, he's like 4'9" or something like that. He's like Dio size kind of.
Yeah. He's got this roar. Oh, so good.
So yeah, I mean, because of that, and honestly, like, you
Scare
know,
Mufasa.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think he's got a pretty good singing voice and stuff.
Well, at least on the song I heard earlier, you know, I'm not saying he was bad, and maybe that's exactly the sound he was going for. It's just not a sound I particularly like, because in my head I associate it with the radio rock I was trying to distance myself from at that age. Mm. It's very specific to me, and I recognize that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I hear something that kind of sounds like that, I'm like, but I also should recognize that I haven't listened to the radio in that long, and I'm sure they still replay some of those old songs, but I'm sure a lot of the new stuff on there doesn't sound like that. Like, for instance, Parkway Drive. Like,
yeah.
Who, for the record, if we could go back, I would put Hate Eternal on our list and not Parkway Drive. I've been listening to that new Hate Eternal a lot more. And
yeah, I keep going back to that one.
Dude, there's this one song, solo on it, floored me. And because the drums in the background, like, my God, it just sounded so clean and so fucking precise, and just, you could hear every instrument. His production, Eric Rutan's production, I just can never say enough about it. Like, my God, that guy is such a talent.
Yeah, and it only gets stronger with each album that they put out.
Really does.
It
really does.
Yeah, I mean, the newer one definitely seemed more focused.
Did you know? I can't fucking remember, but there's someone else in Hate Eternal that he wrote In Furnace and Upon Desolate Sands with. And I don't think I don't think it's normally co-written, but the last two has been, and he said in an interview that he loves it. And I agree. I mean, those.
The last two albums have been.
They're the only two I've heard top to bottom.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, but of like the random other songs I've heard and stuff, I haven't heard anything that I like more than the most recent two albums.
Yeah.
Not saying it's not out there. I'm just saying, like, oh my God, if you haven't heard these two newest Hate Eternal albums and you love death metal, fucking do it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Goes great with coffee.
Oh my God. Coffee, death metal, and push-ups.
Yeah. Where's that sponsor, man?
We are sponsorless. That's all right. We're doing old school. We're doing a fucking underground, literally. The next tour that I would like to talk about. This is an interesting situation for me. So this is the Majestic Detroit 5/24, so May 24th at the Majestic, which I'm excited to go back to. I love the Majestic. We got While She Sleeps, opening for Thy Art Is Murder, opening for Architects. The reason why this is interesting for me is because the only band I know on this bill is Thy Art Is Murder. It's been a long time since I've gone to a show pretty much solely for an opener. Very long time, actually. Son of a bitch. The last time I did this might have been at the Majestic. But anyway. So I have... you introduced me to Thy Art Is Murder earlier this year, and I have completely fallen in love with them. They are one of the best, one of my favorite bands going right now. They got a new album coming out this year. It's yet untitled. We don't know anything about it except for one single.
Yeah.
But again, this is another band who, you know, I'm not gonna buy that single. I'm gonna wait for the whole album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is an interesting. But I suggested it to you, and you said you wanted to go, so we're going. But I don't know the Architects at all.
I don't know what to say.
Okay,
really.
so here,
like,
here. Then now I'm sorry for our listeners. Anyone who's listening to this right now, I'm sorry. But if I doubt anyone pays this close attention, but I actually earlier today had to take down our previous episode and repost it because I used an intro with an Iron Maiden song, and then I looked up the rules on all these things, and music is really like I don't think it's allowed on podcasts and stuff. Even though we aren't sponsored, even though there is no money being made off of this in any way, shape, or form, we're doing this for the fans. I don't know. So I just don't want to risk getting pulled and having to deal with all that shit. But you and I can listen to something and talk about it. So why don't you go ahead and pull up your favorite Architect song, or just any Architect song?
Well, I'd like to first acknowledge the fact that you looked up Bro Job on YouTube.
Did you know what that song is?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was saving that. I was going to show it to you later. Preston sent that to me the other day, and I was like, I cannot wait to show this to Aaron.
Oh, yeah, man.
Damn it.
I think they're still anonymous. They might have come out already.
All I know is that one song about the world's smallest dick.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, they're another.
What is that? Is it like a?
I think it's like a parody band.
Well, yeah.
They're not like, I don't know. They're just kind of like a joke band.
But are they like members of real bands, or?
I
the
think
music
so.
was decent.
Yeah.
So it's like a Cannabis Corpse type situation.
Kinda,
sort of?
yeah.
Okay.
But it's all like it's pretty much like, taking the super like masculine shit out of metal and making it like really gay mostly.
Oh, okay.
Like they got a couple of songs on there that are just ridiculous. Like at first it's kind of cool, but after a while it's kind of funny or whatever. But after a while it's like, all right, this is just kind of like.
Well, I'm glad they exist. I'm gonna have to. I didn't know anything other than that song existed, so I'm gonna have to take a deeper dive. It sounds like that's cool. Everybody, look up Bro Job.
It's a fun, yeah.
Very funny, very funny. Make me laugh real hard.
You need something to laugh at, yeah.
Oh my god,
man.
Like I've never even heard an Architect song. I have no idea what these guys sound like. I mean, I can't. It's hard for me to even picture anything considering Thy Art Is Murder is opening for them. Because Thy Art Is Murder is such a fucking. I don't know anybody else that sounds quite like that.
Yeah. Man.
Similar, but not like them. How many like albums these guys have?
We got 5, I think.
Oh wow,
5 or 6.
And this is a band I see, like every time they come out with an album, I see it pop up over people's lists. I'm pretty sure that I've heard like Randy Blythe and other metal musicians talk about them in very positive ways. I think, in terms of their music and everything.
Yeah, they're like pretty much, they like it's. I don't know, like they're, and I'm pretty sure I've said this before, because we talked about them on the best or 15 or whatever.
They had an album out last year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they are one of those bands that like have a way of just making you feel something, Like they're really good at like, evoking emotion and stuff, and like just creating this big atmosphere and stuff, which is why I'm having such a hard time picking like a song, because like,
Fair enough. That'd be like me. Well, I guess I do know which one I would pick if I wanted to show someone Thy Art Is Murder, but I get it.
That and like over, because their first album I got into them on was Hollow Crown, which is nothing like Holy Hell. Like they have, they
Holy Hell being their newest.
Yeah. I don't know, they just, because I'm trying to think of like who I can compare it to. I guess like I guess their earlier stuff is more like post-hardcore, more like Norma Jean style, like, you know, like, uh, um,
I don't know what you're saying.
like really raw sounding, I
Okay.
guess, and then these are more like, you know, it's a little more driving, I guess. It's a little more like focused.
Okay.
So I guess, well, I guess I'll just pick a song off the new one.
All right.
Let's see.
Let me control the volume too
Oh.
on the computer for us. Sorry, everyone.
I'll pick a short one. There is one.
We
on
don't
here
have to
that
listen to the whole
uh,
whole thing. I just want to kind of get an idea.
So I guess we'll go with that.
The Seventh Circle is the name of the song. So if you want to take a listen to this with us, look up Architects Seventh Son starting to play right now. All right, here we go. All right. Interesting. Okay. All right, so this is like fuck. Post-hardcore, you said, is where they started about?
I'd say more like metal, like post-hardcore, like metalcore kind of. I'd say.
Because there is like a hardcore element to it. At least this song, for
Hang
sure.
on, hang on. Just
Okay,
let's
keep it
talk
going
about
for a
that.
second. All right.
I don't know. I just
That gives me an idea.
yeah. I mean, well, I think that's probably one of the heavier songs on the new one, but and it's all pretty different. Like there's some more like single worthy songs because they put out quite a few singles for it and stuff, and there's a couple, but it's all like it all has a really just like strong like driving feel to it.
Okay. Honestly, that was quite good. If I don't end up taking a deeper dive before the show in May, I got 4 months. I should be able to. But if I don't, I'll probably end up picking that album up at the show.
Yeah, it's I'd say well, and like I wouldn't definitely. I mean, I'd say that their newest one is really good. Like solid,
Okay.
in terms of kind of the whole situation that's happened with them over the last couple of years and stuff. Because they put out Doomsday, like 2017, I think, and then
another one in 18?
well, because that was the song that's on Holy Hell. That was like the first.
Oh, it's a Doomsday is a song.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that was like the first thing that they put out for it as
Okay.
far as like new music, because music. I was gonna say something else, but anyway, it's the first album without their main guitar player, who was their like the main songwriter and stuff.
Okay. That's always a big loss.
Yeah, and so it was just kind of interesting to hear, and so I mean, pretty much, after hearing Doomsday, I was pretty excited about it and stuff, and just hadn't heard anything for a while. I think it was a couple months and stuff, and then all of a sudden they started posting pictures and stuff, and it's like
Sounds like that's probably exactly what The Outer's Murder is about to do.
Yeah.
They dropped one song in November, let a couple months go by, and then we're gonna hopefully release the album before this tour.
Yeah.
That'd be great. If we had, so then we got Architects supporting a new album, Thy Art supporting a new album. That'd be fantastic.
I'd say, really, the best way to get into them is just to just start one of their albums and just let it run.
Real.
And I'd say definitely, Lost Together was, I think, 2 before this one. And then the one that's before this is All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us.
Okay.
Which is pretty
pretty
bold title, but
that
one has some songs that are like, that whole album is just really dark. It's just really, and it's pretty hard to get to listen to.
Oh Jesus!
Because it's a very there's a lot of emotion going on and stuff, and there's a lot of big anthemic moments and stuff that just if you're feeling a certain type of way, or if, you just it just grabs you and stuff, and I don't know, just that's just one of the things that they're one of the only bands that I can think of that really has that effect on me.
Hell yeah.
I'd say I'm sure there's more of them, but they're a big one that I can't always listen to all their songs because it brings up some shit, and I don't know, you just have to listen to it, I guess.
Maybe we'll have to do a podcast sometime of most emotional evoking songs to us and tell the story behind it.
Have a good cry.
Why not? All right, so that was cool. That Architects is a band I will have to definitely.
I'll have to show you a couple other songs on there too.
Hell yeah!
Just because there are some I guess more so of that album than probably anything. They just there's a lot of more heavier stuff than I've heard them do before, and
nice.
And I think the thing that kind of caught me about that last song is, I don't know, it's less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And just the way that it all kind of deconstructs, and towards the end of it when the vocals are going, it sounds like it distorts, and it sounds like it's just getting it's just growing and stuff. It's cool.
Oh yeah.
When I was listening to the album the first time all the way through it, that was one of the ones that stuck out to me, and I was like, shit, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
So enough about me cheesing over Architects. I talk about them all day.
Well, we're gonna go see them. I'm excited.
And I have seen them before. It was a long time ago, but it was one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
I still say that.
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
the third and final show that got announced yesterday. That's right. Three that we're definitely going to got announced yesterday. This final one, we're going back to St. Andrews Hall, ladies and gentlemen. I've been to St. Andrews Hall twice in the past 2 months for Guar and Behemoth. Now we're going back again for Wolfheart, Swallow the Sun, and the Kings, the Bastards, the Children of Bodom. Oh, God, I fucking love it when Children of Bodom comes to town so much. I was thinking about it. I don't think I've missed a Bodom show in Michigan since 2008.
Oh.
I saw them for the first time at a venue that doesn't even exist anymore, Clutch Cargo's in Pontiac. And I'm pretty sure I've not missed a single Bodom show since then. And that even includes them playing on festivals like Mayhem and Gigantor. I if they're there, so am I. God damn it. I fucking love Children of Bodom so much. I cannot wait for the new album. The new album is out March 8th called Hexed.
No, I didn't think I had a release date for it yet.
Yeah, March 8th, so it comes out right before we'll go see him. And Alexi said in a post, he said, we got the new album. This tour is in support of that. We're really excited. The new you should be able to get the new album before you see us. But just in case you don't worry, because we're going to be rotating the set list a lot to make sure a lot of older stuff gets played too. And I was like, yes. Oh my god.
That's some
I
deep
was
cuts.
so excited, dude. Whenever they do deep cuts, it's like, holy shit!
Yeah.
I can't believe this is happening.
Because they got a lot of them.
Dude, they have
They
so
got-
many fucking albums.
I forget sometimes.
I know. And so do I. And then you just go to the playlist on your phone. You're like, oh my god, it's the greatest fucking band ever. Like, oh, so much good shit. And yeah, no, I'm ecstatic. I'm very excited about that. I buy tickets for that tonight too. Yeah, I mean, we've seen them at St. Andrews before,
Yeah.
which is awesome. It was
that
great.
yeah. I think that was, well, the last Mayhem Fest we saw them on was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Only because I think it was like the first and only time at Mayhem Fest I ever crowd surfed.
Did you
But,
really crowd
yeah,
surf? I forgot
yeah.
about that. Oh man, I should find. I bet you there's a YouTube video.
It
of
might
you.
be.
I need to find that. That'd
So
be
yeah,
perfect.
that was cool. I ended up all up front and stuff, and then I think I ran into you in the pit or something like that.
Ha! Hell yeah! Dude,
Afterwards, I was like, dude, I was.
I know we are in a fucking YouTube video together
Yeah.
at a Mayhem Fest. Might be
Yeah.
that same Mayhem Fest, but we are in. I
That
keep
was so
telling
fun.
the next time I'm out at Preston's for a couple of days, him and I are gonna fucking sit down, and I want us to make a real intro, and I want it to be a super cut of all the fucking times we found ourselves in other people's
Yeah.
cell phone footage. Cause I love that
That's a
shit
good
so
idea.
much. Cause you know what? I think the video that you and I are in is actually an official Rockstar Mayhem like promotional video. Cause every day they would post like day whatever Detroit.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
used
think
to
we're
watch those.
in that video
Yeah.
for Detroit.
Hell yeah.
So we pull from that. We could pull from fucking. Oh come on! Are you kidding me? What's the name of it? I know this. The name of the Hatebreed live album.
Live dominance.
Live Dominance. There we go. We could pull from Live Dominance because I'm in that fucking. Yeah, we could definitely find a lot to make a badass video. I really, really want to do that. But yeah, I'm through the so as of right now, we're sitting here. As of right now, 2019 is shaping up to be something else. Between all these concerts getting announced, the ones that are already here, and I still have my fingers crossed that Amon Amarth will A come out with their new album before they come with Slayer, and B, I've seen Lamb of God and Children of Bodom actually both do this when they were on bigger tours, not festivals necessarily, but when they were on bigger tours, they'd fucking, if they could, they'd slip in a
Yeah.
headliner show at a small venue. I would fucking love it if Amon Amarth headlined somewhere here. I want to see that really bad.
Yeah, I missed it last time they did that. I'm
They,
bummed.
I don't know of them headlining here. I don't remember that ever happening. Maybe it did and I didn't know about it, but
Wasn't there a Mayhem Fest where they played like
they
the
played the
intersection
main
or
stage.
something?
Oh, maybe.
It was like a short. It was that.
You know what? I think there was.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A one-off date. Yeah, just like I
Seems-
was just talking about.
Yeah. It was like the heavier bands that year.
Wasn't it just what?
I thought Bodom was on that too.
Then I went to that. Then Bodom
Yeah.
headlined. Yeah,
That's
because I have seen them open for Bodom,
see if I can-
and I saw them at the main stage on Mayhem.
I don't know. To me, I'd rather see him on a smaller,
Oh, me too.
but
But we get what we get.
I'm not not mad at it. I'm just
Oh no, not at all. Not
you
at
get the
all.
full production and stuff, and you just see the big ass like Viking ship.
Yeah,
and
up close and everything. Yeah, the full production.
I just remember at Mayhem Fest when we were walking up to the main stage and stuff, just like coming around the corner and just seeing this giant like these banners and like these big flags, these big like war flags, and then the ship in the center and the big
Fuck yeah.
like hammer thing that he's got that shoots the spikes in it, or the Yeah, the sparks and stuff.
I remember that. I got. I'm planning a little. I may. Well, okay. I mean, full disclosure here, people. The crypt received a recent upgrade. Hopefully you've noticed an improvement in our sound quality. We got our own microphones, headsets. We got a mixer in here now. We got all kinds of fun stuff, and we are just we are still working out some kinks, but we are very well on our way to figuring to finding an effective way for us to do this on camera, and yeah. So hopefully that happens sooner than later. And when that happens, I got a little surprise. I got a little something that's always gonna be on the table. Here and at Preston's.
Yeah, I think
something I'm gonna buy for us.
Pretty fitting.
Pretty excited. Something to drink out of.
Oh,
there you
okay.
go.
I thought you were talking about something else.
No. I want to get us some ram horns.
Dude,
Grim Frost.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Jonathan Haig, the lead singer of Amon Amarth's fucking company, Grim Frost, makes them. There's another one called like Ale something, but I like Grim Frost's better.
And why doesn't Amon Amarth and Ailstorm do a tour?
Oh my god!
Like, it makes perfect sense. Like
Pirates vs Vikings.
Yeah,
would be amazing. Amazing, and I think you should have Necrogoblicon open for them and Cannabis Corpus open for them. They're fucking amazing. Great show. So yeah, that's fucking. We had some fantastic tour announcements, and no updates yet in terms of album release dates, like we've mentioned. Amon Amarth, Ida's Murder. The other ones we don't know for sure yet are Slipknot, Anthrax, Devil Driver, D. Snyder, Lamb of God. Yeah, we shall see.
Well, I think Slipknot is just started recording either today or yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've been posting different stuff about it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So hopefully that'll come out before the end of the year. Hopefully. You know what I saw too? Yesterday. Dez Ferrara posted that he is starting to lay down vocals for the new Devil Driver album today. So
I heard, isn't it double album release or not?
Ooh, I have not heard that, but that would be cool.
I don't know if I saw that anywhere. If that was from the.
It would kind of make sense.
Yeah.
But that'd be cool. So yeah, so those two are they're being made right now. So that's very exciting. I'm pretty sure Anthrax has already done some recording. So yeah, and Amon Amarth. They said that they were wrapping up in the studio too.
Yeah.
That just came out a couple days ago. So yeah, that's fucking lots of movement. Very exciting.
Yeah.
So we got all that going on. And on top of all that, you know what I want to talk to you about? I talked about it on the solo podcast, but I want to talk to you about it. That new Mark Morton song.
Yo.
So Mark Morton has an album coming out. Anesthetic is what I believe it's called. March 1st. Mark Morton, the guitarist from Lamb of God. Solo project coming out. He's got all kinds of guests. I talked about it on the last podcast. He's got a great song already out with Randy Blythe and Elisa White Gloves from Arch Enemy. Fantastic song.
Ton of guests on it.
Unbelievable guests. Yeah. Just over every song has guests on it. But he just released the song with Chester Bennington, the late Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, and oh man. I went off about it on the last podcast, so I want to hear your piece.
I was still trying to find that tour I was talking about.
What tour?
The
Amon Amarth.
Yeah,
no, I think you're right, because now when you said that, the heavier bands having an off date and like a few weeks later it was Mayhem.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Like that's what it was. I'm pretty sure.
I was just trying to remember what the lineup was for it.
It was Children of Bodom, Amon Amarth, LUVT, or whatever, Luvite or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
The band with the pan flute or whatever. And I think there might have been one more, but I'm not sure.
I kept seeing. I think that was the tour for it, but it was Sabaton and Skeleton Witch. They did a tour with. I think that was the UK.
Yeah, I don't think that they were there.
No.
That is that is one of the tour posters that hangs in the Lansing restaurant Meat Southern Barbecue. Yeah, that's posted there. So they were at that show too. Pretty cool. But yeah,
Man.
Mark Morton's Chester Bennington. What's the song called? I'll look it up. You just
Oh
talk.
man. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah, gotta stop doing that.
Yeah.
Like peaked right there. No, but like from the second I started it till like the second that it, like the last second of it is like chills. Like straight up. And it was real, and you know all the
Cross Off. Sorry.
Yeah,
Cross
that's
Off
right.
is the name of the song.
Yeah. You know, there was that. It kind of the whole thing feels like it builds to me. I haven't heard it in a couple of days, so it's not as fresh as it was. But like the whole thing has a really cool build to it, and like towards the middle of the song, man, like that is as hard as I'd heard him go in
On
a
anything
long time.
that
Yeah.
I've heard.
And it's like, man, that still kind of cuts me, like, you know, because like I mean, that was like they were such a big, like, in like, I don't know, there's what's the word I'm looking for? Not like inspiration, I'd say, but like
Influence?
yeah, they were just
A big influence on you?
yeah. More so like when I was, you know, growing up and stuff.
Yeah,
like, hearing them
younger.
for the first time, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know, we talked about them
Mm-hmm.
a couple
Yeah,
times.
and I said on the last one, like before I really got into heavy music, they were a band that I really liked.
Yeah.
And then you get into heavy music and you're like, I hate everything on the radio, and and then you don't like it anymore. But I saw them at the Joe Louis Arena. Preston and I got tickets for Christmas one year. It was Chiodos, Coheed and Cambria, and Linkin Park.
Damn.
At the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, and
Wow.
and Linkin Park blew us the fuck away because everything was so much heavier live. It was literally like you took the songs you know from the radio and just fucking turned the gain all the way up to 11 on all the guitars and everything. Like everything was so much more crunchy and heavy sounding live. And Chester's fucking performance of What I've Done, like goosebumps. Like I had goosebumps in the crowd. Like it was magical. Like it was fucking incredible. And yeah, like I never really like, I didn't like go out and buy a bunch of their albums or anything like that. But after that, I was forever, like they forever had a huge piece of respect for me because that, like, oh my God, like I told everybody, like they put on a hell of a fucking show. Hell of a fucking show.
Yeah, I've always heard that about them.
Yeah, they really did. They knew what the fuck. They were very talented. And you go back and watch some of the old videos of them in like that early 2000s, super baggy Jinko jeans and all that spiked blonde hair and short and everything. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? But man, they had talent. They really had it to back it. Like,
dude, live, you gotta check out if you haven't. It's called Live in Texas. It's like one of their.
I've never heard that.
It's one of their first live DVDs. And it's pretty much only because I think it came out around the time that their second album was out.
Okay.
So it's all like early stuff that they play, and it's probably I'll have to go back and listen to it and like watch it actually because it's one of like the, I'd say it's up there with like Philadelphia.
Oh wow.
For my like as far as like best live albums and stuff that I've heard. But yeah, I mean just like, after kind of. Knowing what we know now about everything that happened, that kind of led up to it, and his just, I mean, it's tragic even still, and then just to hear that and then, to hear all of that, I mean, you can just tell that like there was just so much, emotion and so much like,
Yeah.
Yeah. a lot of a lot of stuff going on, and it just like I don't know, it stopped me really.
Yeah. It's an unbelievable song, and when I heard it, I think this is one of the first things I said to you is I will be shocked if this song doesn't end up number 1.
Oh yeah,
Like, I think this song is gonna take off.
yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong, but if it does, I'm calling it here. Like, it's such a good song, and yeah, I don't see any reason why it doesn't get enormous. And you know, that's such a crazy thing to me. Like, what if it does, and then it almost like creates a new level for Lamb of God. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I like even when I saw that was or that was
When's the last time you were excited about one of the musicians in a band you love's solo album coming out? Like, not even like, it's usually the singer. It's not even a singer. Like,
yeah.
when's the last time you were actually excited about that? Like, I don't ever remember anyone else not only doing this, but me being extremely excited to hear it. Before I even heard any of the singles, I was like, what? Mark Morton's? Yeah, I'm going to buy that shit. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I was pretty instantly sold on it. I was like, yeah.
Really fucking cool. Really looking forward to that. March 1st. Anesthetic. Pre-order.
Oh, and he did all the score on the last DVD that they did too.
As Palaces Burn?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if he did all of it, but I'm pretty like I know that he had a big part of just the
I tell you what,
bringing
man.
it together and stuff. And
I tell you what, like there was an episode of the Justice Show where he had Doyle and Elisa on.
like I don't know if I finished that one, but I
Really good
listened to it.
episode.
Yeah.
But Justice said something about Randy Blythe and fucking it was something about like his like it was something about like him maybe like being a guest on Joss's album or something like that. I don't know. And Elisa made some joke about so he's not like so that's when he's not like sculpting or chiseling something or like, you know, making some other brilliant, you know, artistic expression. Apparently that's kind of the fucking vibe of Rand. Like, he's just the artsy. He's artsy as fuck, and he is with all his pictures. Like, he takes really good fucking pictures on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's just really fucking. And Chris Adler out there fucking drumming for Megadeth, and now Mark Morton coming out with a solo album. I just love this band, and I love like these new side projects that they're doing, and I fucking love how much like art and things that I like that they're creating. It's I've never known a band where each individual is such a prominent artist outside of the band, and I'm really enjoying. I love it. I love all of them so much. Speaking of side projects, Mr. Randy Blythe, what a segue. God, I'm the king. Mr. Randy Blythe fucking shocked the world. The other day. How many days? I don't know. A couple days ago. Oh, I remember now. With the creation of a new Instagram.
Oh yeah, I was like, "What are you talking about?" I can't.
Now you see that segue.
It's been a long couple of days.
Now you see that segue. The creation of a new band. This is what this Instagram appears to announce, featuring members of Lamb of God, Animals as leaders, Sworn Enemy, and Addicts for Automatics. Debut LP on Sumerian Records coming soon. The band is called Over It All, with Randy Blythe as the lead vocals.
What's interesting about that to me, and what sticks out probably more than, well, there's two things really. The fact that, like, because Animals as Leaders. I don't know if you're familiar with
I'm not familiar with any of those bands besides Lamb of God.
Well, I know I sent you a couple of things and stuff, and they're a straight like progressive instrumental band, I'd say.
No vocals?
No. It's all music. It's really cool actually. Like it's pretty ambient stuff. It's ambient, but it's also like heavy and like rhythmic and atmospheric and everything. And so that's, and then to hear that, you know, Randy's gonna be doing vocals for him and stuff is like, I don't know what to expect, but
Nobody does.
Yeah, but I'm thoroughly excited about.
What is Sworn Enemy?
They're I know I've heard them. I think they're like,
I don't know. I know I've heard them too.
They're like, part of me wants to say hardcore, like a hardcore band.
I feel like they might be kind of like
more,
Spidey.
They're more. It's hard to.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I don't know. I don't really know them, but yeah,
I did listen to them a while ago.
I thoroughly excited is definitely a good way. And let's see here, they made a post yesterday. The most recent post. Oh no way! Look how many people liked it right now. 666. I was the 666th person to like that. Fuck yeah, because I just liked it. They made a post that looks like the picture is a drum set in a studio room. Finally, we made it out of the awful fart-smelling RV and into the studio. Time to check the drum room sounds. In Over It All, we stand firm in our convictions that we will only be using real drum sounds, not any of that programmed digital studio fuckery. You'd be surprised how many records are coming out now with a drummer where a drummer didn't play a single note. That's not rock and roll. Burton is pretty picky about his sound, so we'll see what happens. Real? What do you have to say about that, drummer man?
Well, to backtrack for a second, Sworn Enemy.
Okay.
It's Queens, New York, metal hardcore hybrid. So they're like a hardcore, like metalcore band.
So that's more along the lines of Hatebreed.
Yeah, and they, I guess Josta put out their first EP.
Well, speak of the devil.
Yeah.
After Jalapeno.
So yeah, they're like, I couldn't like pinpoint a specific song, but I've definitely listened to them. And they got a cool sound to them. They're pretty, aggressive. So
I'll have to check them out. But yeah, I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
What I
expect cleans. To be honest
I was gonna say what I do expect is cleans.
Yeah.
Maybe some not, but probably mostly cleans.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm very excited to hear what it sounds like.
You know.
I'm very excited to hear what this sounds like.
Yeah.
The only thing. Never mind. Actually, there's I was gonna say the only thing that somewhat would like makes me go is according to Chris Adler, the drummer, the new Lamb of God is scheduled to be out towards the end of 2000. He said hopefully by Christmas 2019. There's no reason Randy can't record 2 albums in a year.
Yeah.
So
what were you saying though?
And do a Slayer tour. Well, this post here.
And what a year.
Yeah, I know, dude. This 2019 is just, oh my god, I'm loving it already.
And that's just stuff that's been announced yet. There could be some stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Exactly. In one day we had 3 tours, and we're not even out of the first fucking 3 weeks of January.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. I'm just, oh god, what a time to be alive. Here, I'll read this again. This is Over It All's official post from yesterday, and this is the picture. It's drum in a recording studio.
It's pretty minimal.
Yeah. It says, finally we made it out of the awful fart-smelling RV and into the studio. Time to check the drum sounds, and Over It All, we stand firm in our convictions that we will only be using real drum sounds, not any of that programmed digital studio fuckery. You'd be surprised at how many records are coming out now where the drummer didn't play a single note, and that's not rock and roll. Burton is pretty picky about his sounds, so we'll see what happens. You, as a drummer who plays every fucking note, how do you feel about that statement?
That's fair.
That's okay. So for the
well,
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that there is a lot of truth to that. Because with the advancement of Pro Tools and with all this other stuff coming out, like drums. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 different bigger like drum like software programming companies that you can that are specifically for getting like solid samples and stuff, and so that's a lot of what it is and stuff. So that like it's all samples and it's all programmed, so that you don't really have to play anything, like you don't have to lay anything down and stuff. To me, it depends on the music. To me, and it's just I mean, it's all pretty like subjective.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like some people it doesn't matter. Other people are like purists. Like, it has to be real drums on the album and stuff. And to me, like it depends on the band, really. Like sometimes it like, I guess like the best way I can describe it is like the difference between like the drum sound that's on like Clutch albums and the drum sound that's on like, I don't know, like Thy Art, I guess.
Okay.
Like it's a little more processed and stuff as compared to like the pretty traditional just like live room, let's just put a bunch of mics on it and just, take that for what it is and then kind of mix it and stuff. So I mean, I think to me, like with everything, for one, it doesn't really, I don't know if it fully surprises me, being that that's what the lineup is, because it's pretty, as far as like, because that's a pretty like significant lineup. Like there's a lot of really strong musicians in it and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like
yeah.
that would I think that probably added to the to that decision as far as how it's all mixed and stuff. But
so to a layman fan like me, how is someone like me going to be able to tell if I'm listening to an album where the drummer didn't play any of it?
I'm trying to think of how to
like, are there any albums you can think of that might be an example? Not to talk shit about any of them, but like,
right, yeah.
I mean, if it's the way it was recorded, it's the way it was recorded. Doesn't mean you can't play it live, but if it's the way it was recorded.
I mean, like, there could be, there could very well be, albums that I really like that are, it's all just samples and stuff. And I mean, I guess like,
well, here's one thing is, it's hard to just say sounds so like produced and everything, because that argument could be made. No, I don't feel like that argument could be made about the new Hate Eternal albums, but at the same time, everything is so clear and precise. But at the same time, I know it was played. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's really hard to tell.
I mean, it like.
So whoever posted that, probably Randy Blythe, is right. I would be surprised.
I mean, it's hard to explain, I guess.
Yeah, you're talking to someone who the only thing that I know about Pro Tools is it coming up in the context of conversations like this. I've never used it. I don't know how to tell if something has been recorded with Pro Tools or not. Like, I don't know.
Well, usually it's, I mean, because a lot of
I don't even know what it really does.
Well, all right. So when you, well, I'm trying to think where to start. So I guess, when you first go in to start recording.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll start like that. When you first start, you, at least I don't know, talking from personal, like everybody's kind of different. Usually, I lay down my parts with the drums and with like with the guitars and stuff behind it and everything, just to kind of get like a bass idea, or like kind of
like an outline.
yeah, kind of get everything down and stuff, and then either from there, you kind of finish up all the recording stuff, and then once you get into mixing, usually that is when samples come into play, which is I mean, it's pretty much like I guess it's the best way to get like a thicker, more like pronounced drum tone on an album, instead of the other alternative being you mic everything up, you record everything, and then you just mix the drums as they are. And sometimes, like, when you say, it doesn't sound real, or it doesn't sound, like anybody's actually playing it, it's more, it's kind of like, it's more of just like the feel of it. If it all feels really like too perfect, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you're listening to something and it sounds like too, like too precise and everything.
Okay.
And like, I don't know, I guess.
See, for me personally, the only, cause too perfect. Because for me personally, the only way I can like picture something like that is with like a more extreme, wild band, like something like a Rings of Saturn, maybe.
Yeah.
Like they have such a wild sound, where there's so many change ups and so many like things going on in the song, that I could see a band that sounds like that doing some of this, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's such a crazy sound to hone in to begin with, you know what I mean, that you're going for. Yeah, I don't know.
And that's the other thing is, you can program parts and you can program music and stuff, but really what it comes down to is, and that's really where the difference lies, is is it possible to play from a musician standpoint, is it possible for somebody to play what's recorded on there?
Right.
And most of the time, if it sounds too ridiculous, I mean, I don't know, I'm not discrediting anything. I'm not like saying any one specific, band or anything like that. But like, kind of what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like, it just kind of comes down to like, is that possible? Like, can you really do that? Or like, it almost sounds too like polished, I guess.
Okay.
And I got like, when you hear, I guess like a really good live album, like it's Philadelphia, for example. Like that's, you can tell that all the musicians on it are playing their parts and stuff.
Right.
It sounds very live.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take that away, and if you try to program that, and then, kind of mix it a certain way, it doesn't necessarily lose like the song, and the vibe and everything is still there, but there's something that like there's just a naturalness to it that's missing, and there's the room feel, I guess, is missing.
Like, I mean,
I don't know, and like really like to be honest, like it's a hard thing to be able to pick out, because like I've heard albums where I'm like, yeah, that's sick or whatever, and then come to find out it's just all like program stuff and nobody actually played it. But I guess,
like, what have you found that out about? Like, I don't know. I've never found that out about anything, so I genuinely don't. The only album that I've ever listened to, top to bottom, that I know for a fact the drums are they're totally playable. Personally they're totally playable, but I know for a fact all the drums were created in a computer. They were written by a human being on a drum kit. Yeah. But on the record, what you're hearing is not a drummer. The Medic album.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
now nobody knows what that is, because it's a very small local band that only came out with one album.
Right.
But that's how Aaron and I know each other. Is I knew the guys in that album. I helped them do their live shows a little bit, and Aaron ended up drumming for that band. So that's how we met. And that's the only album I know for a fact. And the only reason is because the drummer was fucking flaky and they couldn't get him to do it. But that, so in that album, like, there's no drum sounds on there that are in any way, shape, or form impossible. You know that, 100%. So I wouldn't have known that had someone not told me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. To me, like, it's almost a debate, really, as you know, whether or not, you know, and that's oftentimes why I think more modern, like, extreme bands get a lot of flack, because it all sounds really like processed and almost like too perfect and stuff, and like.
Fair enough.
So,
and no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I guess a good example of, you know, of just somebody using samples but being able to play is, you know, triggers. Like, triggering is really just a sample. You know, it's a sample of a kick sound, like either a stock kick sound or something that's been like EQ'd or messed with or whatever, and usually, you know, use that live and stuff, and that gives the kick drum more of a thicker sound to it. It kind of like brings
How
out
is it used live?
It's to pick up more of the hits and stuff.
I mean, like you as a drummer, what are you doing? What is the thing? What is the physical object? Like, do you have to kick it with your foot?
Yeah. So it's well, I guess to get technical about it, there's a module that goes, that's like, and that's kind of like your brain, I guess. That's like your computer.
Yeah.
I guess, and you can, like, I don't know, get, like, I don't know, kind of like fine tune it and stuff through there, and then from the module you have a trigger, which is like a little thing that's, you know, I guess, I don't know, like half of the speaker, I'd say.
Okay.
Probably, like, right there, whatever, that kind of like clips on to either like your bass drum, or usually more times than not it's your bass drum, it's your kick.
Okay.
Because that's just, you know, and then but everything else usually most of the time is, you know, just mics and just like natural drum sounds.
Okay, so this thing is just attached to your bass drum.
Yeah.
And it just makes the bass drum sound bigger.
Because then from there,
because it's feeding through the PA system.
Yeah, from there it goes into the PA and stuff, and then
okay, so how is that different than a guitarist using gain? Like, it just, if it's just amplifying it, you're still doing it. There's nothing that it's not giving you any inhuman talent. Like, it's not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's just making it sound slightly different. It could sound, the way you're describing it, sounds to me it's equivalent to, if I had the ability to tune my drum to do this, it would be done.
Well, the thing, like, you can, like, there's certain things that you can do with the module. Like, certain modules have a way that you can, like, you know, one bass drum hit is equal to 2 hits, like 2 triggered hits. So if you hit the bass drum once, it hits it twice. It's kind of like a delayed thing, and, like, you know, you can, you know, like, you can cheat with that. So, like, you're not really playing as fast as you know.
See, there's such a weird thing, because, okay, I get the bullshit in that.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about, like, there are contexts to where I'd be okay with it. If we're talking about an extremely talented drummer that everyone loves, and look, he can't have 4 bass drums sitting in front of him. So, and he wants to create this sound for this specific effect in this specific part or couple parts of a couple songs or whatever. I'm okay with that, because that's, to me, that's not different than Steve fucking Vai using some crazy effect on his amp to get a crazy sound.
Yeah.
Like, that's not that different to me. Like, guitars don't sound like that's not how guitars sound. A guitar sounds like an acoustic guitar. That's the way everything else you hear is an effect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get it. I don't want people using effects to do inhuman things like sounding like you have 4 bass drums in front of you and you only have 2. But if you're an extremely talented drummer and you want to use it for effect, you're essentially you're at the point where you're composing something essentially within these songs, this moment or something like that, where you want that extra effect.
Yeah.
That I'm okay with. They're not using it as a cheat, they're using it as a tool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess the best way to make the comparison is like from either drums or guitar, because like, and I don't know if this is gonna be like correct or not, but this is just kind of how I see it. Like, the way, like, so how do you get like a reverb most of the time from a guitar? It's usually a pedal.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing. In terms of like talking about triggering or like samples per se, is like, a lot of times you'd have like sometimes when you see like laptops on stage, usually like drummer has laptop, usually that's for the click and everything, but that's also so that you can follow the song, so that it's all programmed in there, so that like when the sample comes up in a certain part of the song, then it's in time with everything. And I mean that's, I know it's a little bit different, but I'd say like guitar pedals and stuff are what triggers are to drumming, kind of like it's that extra added thing that kind of like, and sometimes it allows you to make like your distinct drum sound, like your bass sound, I guess.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, and sometimes the snare is like triggered or sampled as well. But I mean, a lot of times it's mostly like the kick mixed with like all the different natural drums and stuff. But that's the other thing is you still, regardless of using like triggers and stuff, you still have to be able to play your parts.
Yeah.
You still got to be able to play your music and everything. And
yeah, I don't know of any pedals for a guitar that are gonna make me sound like I'm playing faster than I am. You know what I mean, or anything like that. So, now real quick, just because you glossed over what, so you said if I see a drummer on stage with a laptop, it's for the click. What's the click?
That's just like the timing. That's like the.
So they have something to listen to.
Yeah.
Like they can actually hear the click.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's mostly so that everything can stay in time.
Right.
Everything.
Right.
And a lot of times, that comes with like, you see a lot of bands with the in-ears or like the, like the headsets or whatever.
In-ear monitors.
Yeah.
So those are essentially doing what these headphones are doing right now.
Yeah.
They're playing it at a level that they can actually hear it, as opposed to the crazy sound that comes out of the speakers for the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a better way so that live you can hear what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
You can really.
You should do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I want them to do that.
You can like dial in like your own mix and stuff and actually hear what's going on instead of just
fucking
the loudspeaker.
God damn it! I can't remember what Can't remember if it was a Josta or a D. Snyder podcast, or if it was Marty Freeman, or who the guest was, but it was some really big guitarist like Marty Freeman. And he was like, yeah, if I'm on fucking stage and I can't hear myself, I can't fucking play. Like, you gotta be able to hear yourself. Like, yeah. Just like right now, like, I feel like the ability to hear what this is gonna sound like to everybody else right now is making it better. You know what I mean? Like that. It's just there's nothing wrong.
Yeah. But it is. I mean, it's. I mean, bands put stuff on albums all the time that I mean, how many times have you been listening to something and like really dug it for whatever reason? Like it was just cool, and then you saw it live and it was like they couldn't do it. It wasn't the same. That's kind of what the debate is.
Vince Neil.
Okay, well that was a little.
When I saw Vince Neil live, it's one of the only concerts I've ever left early because I was like, oh no, he can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But honestly, I haven't had that. I have not had that experience that often. occasionally I will have an experience, like with Devil Driver. There's been a few times where I've been watching Devil Driver, and I know their songs like the back of my fucking hand. I know their fucking albums in and out. And they'll be playing a song that I know to a T, and I won't be able to tell where they are in the song.
Yeah.
Now sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes it's the fucking speakers. Sometimes it's this and that. But it's kind of happened a couple of times more recently, and they have also recently gone through a big lineup change. So I kind of feel like maybe some of these new guys just play the song slightly differently or this or that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's probably some of that going on. Because back in the day, it was spot on. You know, when the original lineup. So, yeah. You know, rare. I've been lucky enough to rarely have that happen. Put it that way.
But it's, I mean, like basically you know when it does. You know, it's hard to mistake that.
Yeah,
you know,
it
like,
is definitely.
When you're hearing something and it's just kind of like, that's not how. I mean, you know, and I guess you could argue that that's really just the live feel to it. That's just you know, some bands, like I know personally, like I'm one to slightly change up, you know, certain fills and stuff or certain, you know, but that's, I mean, it's still like I still got to play it. It's still part of the song and it still matches the, you know, so I guess that's a little bit different, but yeah. So I guess, I don't know. It's more just a matter of, you know, at least for me, like I always appreciate, you know, a live drum sound and like, you know, something that sounds natural and like something that you could actually play and stuff. And there are quite a, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, every heavy band that uses triggers and stuff like that's like they can't play that stuff, because that's, I mean, I'd be way wrong about that. But, you know, it's just, you know, there's it's almost like a pride thing to a point. It's like, oh, we don't use like sampled drum stuff, or we don't, you know, and it's, I mean, it's all kind of like, to me, it's what the song calls for, you know. Like it's, you know, certain songs, like, you know, I mean, it's a matter of like, you know, whatever. So, like, if you were to hear, you know, like think of how Sacrament is, I guess, and think about all of the different effects and stuff that are going on in it, and then think about like the demo versions that you heard. Like it sounds pretty, you know. I mean, it still sounds like the song, like you can still recognize it, but it feels like there's something missing, you know.
Yeah. I kind of see what you're saying.
And to me, you know, I guess it's a matter of like, which would you rather hear? You know, would you rather hear something that's, you know, kind of demoed out and not really like fully realized yet, or would you rather hear like a full product that's really, you know, like with everything together and stuff?
And when they play "Walk with Me in Hell" live, or Black Label, or not Black Label, Black and the Cursed Sun live, fucking it sounds spot on. Yeah. So there ain't nothing going on that they can't do, for sure.
I mean, think about, you know, and I guess Metal Fest is a good example of it, but like, you know, hearing, you know, like watching a band and stuff, and then like hearing like the power come out or something like that, or like something happens where like the triggers stop working all of a sudden, and it just sounds really flat.
Okay.
You know,
I kind of know what you're saying.
And I guess that was kind of the point I was trying to make with the guitar pedals and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really, all it really is just like a way to enhance the sound.
Enhance the sound,
to make, you know, make it more like full and stuff. And
you know, it's not enhance the sound. What the fuck is an amplifier? Like, that's all. What the fuck is the ability to turn up the volume?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we're getting real nitpicky because we take what we got for granted in a situation like this, in a sense. Like, I don't have a problem with any of it, unless we're faking things. That's where I draw the line. Don't fucking fake shit. As long as you can make this sound happen live, then you're not faking it.
Yeah.
So and as long as you're physically able to play it, don't make it sound like you have fucking 19 bass drums in front of you. Like you're what the fuck is that?
Well, I guess the best way I can explain the real difference is, think about an electric drum kit.
Mm-hmm.
That's all sampled.
Yeah.
That's all, and if, let's say, a band would like record with something like that. It's really like the really only difference is that all of the instruments are sampled. And if you were to, make the switch with, like a acoustic drum kit, like something.
But sampled, yeah, but you still have to play every note.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like,
yeah.
You can't just.
And where it gets to be cheating, I guess, is when you add in extra stuff that you can't play.
Right. Yeah, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
And even then, like I said, there are contexts to where if this is just like a masterful musician that wants to do something to add a little flavor as an effect and not a cheat, there's a difference between a tool and just a cheating effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
have you ever heard of Infant Annihilator?
No. Infant Annihilator?
Yeah. Well,
I love their name.
This is a good.
I love their name.
So, all right. So let's hang on before we get to that.
Okay.
Let's take. Well, we'll go with like. Yeah, I guess since I made a reference to him earlier. So you got
Clutch?
Yeah, got a band like Clutch, and if you're not familiar with them, you should be because they're sick.
Full disclosure, I'm not too familiar.
Well, you need to catch up then.
Yeah, I do.
I got really into them last year.
I know you did. You kept telling me about them. I do owe them a check out because they come to they tour here all the time.
Yeah. I like to check them out. Plus, it looks like they switch up their set list every show.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, they seem like one of those bands that you could like follow around.
All right, so let's take a drum sound like this, for example. Shit. Oh. Ah.
There we go. Okay, so what am I hearing right now? This is okay. So for everyone listening, this is In Walks Barbarella by Clutch. We are currently 26 seconds in, 27, 28. Go on, Aaron.
So basically what I'm trying to get at is, when you hear it, it sounds like a drummer sitting at the kit playing
absolutely.
the beat. It all, like, these sound like, musicians that have spent the time to write all this and then performed it on the track, and then, it's all really natural sounding.
Yeah.
It's got a really live, like, big sound to it.
Yeah.
So now...
Okay, now we're switching to Infant Annihilation.
Yeah. So this band, I'm surprised I haven't shown you this before.
Never heard of it.
Well, then you're in for a treat here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure it's well, I mean, I guess the biggest difference is, Clutch is a touring band. They're a full band with, like, I'd say, like, I think they got 4 or 5 different members. So they're a legit band and stuff.
Full-fledged.
Yeah. So this is an internet project that I think they have 2 albums out, but they don't tour. They're just kind of like, they just wrote this album, they put it out and stuff, and like, it's like, I don't know. We'll just like. Here.
We'll just dive in.
Yeah.
This is Soil the Stillborn.
Just play a little bit of it.
And starting now.
That's in a sense.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sound.
You know what I mean? Granted, it's supposed to sound that way. You know, it matches what's going on.
It sounds like Rings of Saturn.
Yeah.
And so the on the guitar and the on drums. Kind of grindcore vocals.
Yeah. Oh man. Real quick.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Listen to that death. And the vocals aren't bad. I mean,
let's see, where's
kind of like deathcore, kind of like Whitechapel-y.
Blasphemian? That's the one.
Just not as quite as good.
It's definitely like it. When I first heard it, and that was initially what like turned me off from it. I was like, that's impossible. Like, there's nothing about this that's like real and stuff. But it's the music. It's the you know, it's supposed to be you know, chaotic and crazy and stuff. And
I mean, look, like, if you want to put something like this out,
I'll show you more of that later.
All right, but if you want to put something
That's
like
kind of
this
long.
out and not be a touring band and only release it online and all this, fine. Just make it known that, you know, we don't have musicians playing this shit. Like, just like the fucking techno guys do it and all that shit. It's essentially electronic music at that point.
I mean, okay.
Outside of, like, the vocals, unless those are somehow faked.
No, there's full videos of them recording vocals for.
Okay,
this
so
album.
the
It's
vocals
pretty,
is real, but
I mean, so
you know, but like, I don't have a problem with it. Just make it known, and the people that want that will seek it out, and the people that don't will avoid it, and then everything's fine.
yeah.
Just don't be out there tricking people.
So tell me.
Oh my god.
Oh, no, I don't. Whatever.
Just yeah. There we go.
You know, then there's the discussion of, is it legit or not? Because to me,
So this is the drummer playing it?
yeah, this is one of their songs.
I mean, if you can play it, then we're talking. This is a different story.
But
What?
to me, what you're hearing is samples of the drum tone. You know, he's playing what he's playing on the recording of it, but it's the samples of it.
Okay, but
So all the, you know, I mean, I don't know. You know,
to me, that's using a pedal.
yeah. You know,
Like he's just he's not, all he's doing is he's still playing every note. He's just making it sound the way he wants it to.
yeah.
That's nothing wrong with that. As long as you can fucking play it, as long as you're not faking something, then I don't have a problem with it.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the real.
You're allowed to kind of twist the knobs and fuck with the sound. Like, I think it might be so fucking taboo just because it's new for a drummer to have these abilities. You know what I mean? Drummers have never had anything outside of the kit.
Yeah.
The kit's where it starts and ends. It's never been able to get weird until the invention of the electronic drum kit and now this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely drummers that do a combination of the two.
Yeah, and guitarists have been able to get weird. Vocalists have been able to. Everyone else has been able to get weird for fucking ever. For pedals, Pantera, Metallica, they all use them. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's another one, man. You know, when you hear Pantera, like that's him actually like hammering out that shit.
it's a very electronic sounding guitar sound.
Yeah.
He has a very unique sound that, you know, everyone knows it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very unique fucking sound.
Yeah. to me, I don't know. It's a matter of, you know.
He had his own signature fucking pickups in the guitar.
Yeah.
Like that's some pretty heavy tinkering.
Yeah. Like to me, if it fits with the music, then cool. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's really like, you know, after being crushed and pummeled by all this crazy like death metal and stuff, sometimes, you know, when you switch over to something else, it's like, you know, it's just a big drum sound.
Yeah,
you know,
I guess that's the real reason why I really don't have a problem with it, is because I can, you know, it to me, like, it just adds a new element. It's just something new.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not, you know, like, I guess I definitely am a purist about certain things, but like, I don't, I love, like, I remember Joe Satriani Surfing with Alien album.
Oh yeah, dude.
I love that album. He uses all kinds of crazy effects. Buckethead, dude. If you've Preston, I need to do a whole podcast about Buckethead because that guy is a next level artist that nobody seems to fucking really talk about. And I mean, he's using all kinds of effects, and it's brilliant. Like, I don't have a problem with any of it. I don't have a problem with a drummer making, like, when they hit something, making it sound slightly different than your standard drum sound.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when a guitarist can hit a G chord, it can, instead of ring, it can go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have an issue with it. Like you said, as long as it goes with the music, as long as it's all part of it, you know, whatever, to each band their own, as long as you're not faking something.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's faking anything. It's no different to me than a guitarist using distortion or a pedal, or a vocalist using a little fucking extra reverb, or, you know, any of it. So I don't really, as long as you still have to hit the notes. You still have to do it. There's not a computer sitting in your place. So as long as that's there, then I don't have a problem with it, frankly.
Yeah.
I'm down for more different sounds.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you know, that makes it, you know, because no one, you know, sample is really, I mean, I don't know. Well, maybe they are. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's really just a matter of preference, you know, at the end of the day.
And, you know, another thing, too, to get weird for a minute. This is a thought I literally just had for the first time. Like, music is intertwined in human DNA from the dawn of man. Like, we have found what we believe to be musical instruments from, like, the earliest civilizations that we know of. Music has always been a part of life for mankind.
Yeah.
So in a sense, like, now granted, the electric guitar, the drums, these things have not been around as long as music itself. But
probably drum has
some form of drum,
I'd say,
because hitting two things together was probably the start of it all.
Yeah.
Rhythm, definitely. Yeah. So prototypes of there we go. That lends to this theory. My theory was maybe when you hear like an impossible sound from a drummer using, some, computerized thing or whatever, like you don't even realize it, but it's in your subconscious to like know that that's not real, and whether you have a distaste for that sort of thing. You know what I mean? If you're that kind of, for lack of a better term, in tune with the fucking, your tastes of music or whatever.
Yeah.
And if drums arguably could potentially, outside of maybe like the voice, be the earliest instrument, then it would stand to reason that would be the one thing that would be especially, that maybe that's why people have so much of a problem with it. A, it's new, and B, it's changing up something that is like ingrained. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
you know, it makes it more
Oh.
noticeable, kind of stand out more in a certain way because it's fucking like so deep in our fucking ancestry and with this shit coming out about look, like I I don't know the up, you know, I hope people are doing research on this in terms of, but like music definitely fucking like it has an enormous impact on so many things. Like it, you know what I mean? Like it's music, you know what I mean? Like it's fucking music. Like for Christ's sake, like it's such a important part of every culture, everyone's life. Like, you know, and God, especially for people like us fucking metalheads, like I thought about it the other day when I was driving home from work. I was like, you know, I just worked like 11 days in a row, and every single day I drove to work and home from work with the metal on real loud, and every single day it made me feel good.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even like fully realize it until I sat down and thought about it, and I was like, or not even sat down and thought about it. I was driving home one day and I realized it, and I was like, most people don't have this experience. This is not a common thing for people to have the music all the way up on the way to work and home from work like clockwork,
Yeah.
and it's heavy fucking metal.
Yeah.
Like it really is like a fucking like I it's just something that makes me feel so good every single day. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
God, it's just crazy. Like it's almost, you know, it's in a sense. I don't feel like I do, but it could be argued it's one of those things that you almost take for granted. Like, because like I said, I didn't realize it until I really thought about it. Like it's fucking just holy shit. Like I have this thing, you know what I mean? Like this thing exists for me, and it doesn't exist for a lot of other people because they don't like it. And it's just crazy to me. I don't know. Everybody has their own thing, but.
I mean,
Yeah.
think about all the times when, you know, you're at work or something, and you know you have something on in the background or whatever, and like think about how boring it would be if it were just silent. Just
Oh my God.
all, you know,
Yeah.
and like, you know, even, I mean, I guess, you know, I mean, really, you could stem that back to like, you know, the time when, you know, like cell phones and stuff weren't as common, or people, you know, weren't using that kind of thing, and you know, like,
I remember.
yeah, I mean, well, so I don't know, certain, like, I don't know, like it's just one of those things that I think about, like how different it would be if it wasn't something that was
there.
so accessible, yeah, or
Yeah.
yeah, something you could just find just on moment's notice, really, or like, you know.
You know, that's funny too. I was thinking about the other day, because I mean, man,
Remember how much boring bullshit you had to do that like was made so much better just by the sole fact that you could listen to something.
yeah,
You know,
I
like,
mean, so much better. Like, I remember though, when we had the cabin, it was in Michigan, and it was in between. If you look at it on a map, it was in between. It was like the northeast side of the state. It was in between Tawas and West Branch. And I remember one day we were driving to fucking Tawas from the cabin. And back in the day, I had a fucking silver Sony Walkman CD player with the street style headphones that went around the back of your head.
I'm familiar with that.
And they had that little rubber part that tucked right behind your ear that made them extra secure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of shit. And fucking, you know, after I lost like that, or after I stopped using it, I went back online just to try to find those exact same headphones because I loved them so much and I never could. But I had that, and I had what I referred to as the Bible, which was my giant CD binder.
Yeah.
And I remember like going through that one day, sitting in the car next to my dad, and he was like, he was like, "You should get an iPod." And I was like, "What is an iPod?
Fuck is that? Yeah.
What the fuck is an
Yeah.
iPod?" And he's like, "It's an MP3 player." I'm like, "What is an MP3?" Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck you're talking about right now. And he explained it to me. He's like, "You can have all that in just one little thing," and he blew my mind. I was like, "What?
Yeah.
What is this?"
So
Like,
so it's sorry to go back to
No, go ahead.
the trigger thing, like it's basically the difference between listening to music on an iPod and the vinyl. It's all just preference. You know, you hear
I can see that.
you hear certain sounds with with vinyl. You hear certain, there's like a warmness to it. There's like a tone to it.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
it's the same sort of thing, and it's really like just what you want to listen to. Like some people, that's all they listen to. Like like no MP3s or anything like that, and other people like I mean, it's just preference at the end of the day, really. But yeah, it's
So yeah, fucking preference. Like me, I didn't grow up with vinyl. I
yeah.
grew up with CDs. So
Yeah.
I have a massive CD collection.
Fuck man,
and-
I had tapes.
Yeah, I did have tapes too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had tapes.
I had like
Let's start with tapes.
yeah, you put
I had a yellow fucking tape player
Yeah.
with some shit headphones.
You ever like set up the recorder right next to the
Yep.
to the boombox?
Yep.
Jesus. And like
I used to record TV shows on VHS, bro.
yeah.
I used to record movies on VHS. Fucking crazy. And well, fucking fuck. I don't know where I was going. Oh yeah, no, I have
Yeah,
CDs. I
sorry.
like CDs.
Yeah.
And to me, a benefit of CDs is vinyl straight up disintegrates
Mhm.
over time.
Yeah.
A CD is plastic, right? So
Yeah.
shouldn't. Like,
You would think.
I
yeah.
don't think it will. Hopefully. So, yeah, preference. And I just like the fact that things like the triggers exist and stuff like that. Like,
Mhm.
as long as we're not using it to fake stuff, as long as we're just using it to, make the sound what you want it, like be able to have the same freedoms that a guitar, any other instrument in the band has. I don't have any issue with that at all. So,
It's, I mean, and the other thing I guess you could argue is, like, how exciting is it? Well, I guess from our standpoint, to like all the big, so like electronic music's big right now, right?
yeah.
And that's cool and all. Like I'm sure it's exciting when you're there and stuff, but like there's nothing that beats watching a band, like a live band and stuff. And
I agree.
that's really the other, other
I think
argument.
I don't know this. I've never heard this, but I might guess that to play devil's advocate, the people that really like the electronic music and go to a lot of those shows, they maybe aren't caring as much about what's going on stage and more about like dancing and stuff, moving to the music and things like that.
That's true.
Possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I feel like that might be something one might say. Maybe.
I mean, I'm never.
I can't. It's not something I don't understand entirely, because there's definitely been shows where I have probably only watched like 5 to 10 minutes and moshed the rest of the time.
Yeah.
That's happened. But
But there's and it's that same sort of thing. Like there's nothing that compares to watching a band play their shit live.
yeah, for me and you, and not only that, not only watch a band like okay, TSO show was next level amazing, to the point where it actually gave you ideas of things to incorporate into your own band.
Yeah.
That's inspiration. That's magic. That's fucking incredible. Like that's exactly like if I were ever in a band, that's what I want to be doing. Inspiring people like that.
Yeah.
However, as amazing as that show was, we were sitting down the whole time.
Yeah.
As amazing as that show was, I felt more at the Slayer show. Front row, Slayer, like all those Anthrax, all those Lamb of God, all those bands.
Yeah.
Like that was like but because of the music itself is what that is. So for you and me, nothing beats seeing a band live. Not only that, but we need to see a band play the heaviest, hardest, most intense music bands can play. And like, you know, we are on a extreme end of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not a lot of people. I don't think there's a ton of people like okay, so each their own. People have their different passions, things like that. But I don't necessarily think that someone, let's say someone's really into woodworking, for example, they might get the same fulfillment out of woodworking as I do out of listening to metal, doing this podcast about metal, going to shows, things like that. But I certainly don't think that the guy that's super passionate about woodworking feels the same fucking fire we feel when we're at a live concert. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a unique thing.
Yeah.
And it only attracts certain types of people that seek it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's rare. And like Sam Dunn said, you know, looking around at this giant metal festival that I'm at right now, we're doing just fine without you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's such a unique fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's a art form that goes to the darkest possible places and revels in it and makes it something, turns those dark things into things that we ultimately find uplifting and helpful, and makes us feel so much. And like I said, like just every single day it can do it. Like, it's not something people don't understand. It's not something that just fucking goes away. It's not like a metal. It's that fucking movie, A Metal Headbanger's Journey. If you haven't seen it, so many quotes. The one guy that was sitting there in the Lamb of God shirt from New York, who was like,
"Oh, dude,
people ask me, when are you gonna stop wearing these shirts?" Fucking never. Like, this isn't a fashion statement. This isn't a fucking fad. Or like Rob Zombie said, you never meet the guy that was into Slayer for one summer. You meet the guy that has Slayer carved into his fucking chest. Like, that's what we're talking about. Like, it's a fucking level of, yeah, it's almost something more than just music itself. It's something more than just, it's a sort of unity. I can't even, it's a way to fucking come together in like this tribal, and I don't like being tribal, but in metal, in a tribal experience that doesn't like celebrate or make light of, but makes the dark things bearable and like almost empowering in a way.
Yeah.
It's fucking, I don't know.
Well, that's, to me, like, I don't, at the end of the day, I don't care, like, it's it's always been interesting how bands record and like how all that kind of happens and stuff.
Yeah, fascinating.
And to just kind of like see different techniques and stuff, and especially coming from that kind of background and stuff. But like, to me, at the end of the day, like, I don't care if it was fake, if it's samples or if it's real drums or if it's real guitars or whatever. If it's auto-tune's different conversation, but.
If it makes you feel.
Yeah, man. Like, that's, and if I hear something that's totally crazy, like I get the same kind of inspiration and influence from, like I don't know, Infinite Annihilator, as I do from like TSO, or like from Megadeth to like
yeah,
fucking, I don't know,
Lamb of God.
Yeah, some other, like, it's all And as long as I get that feeling from it, and as long as that still continues to happen, like, like I don't, that's all. That's what's important to me. That's what,
Yeah. That's that's what it is. Like with metal music, it is ultimately a feeling.
Hmm.
It is ultimately, and you know what? You can just because you're a Cannibal Corpse fan doesn't mean you can't fucking like Poison.
Yeah.
It's all fucking, if it gives you some semblance of that same overwhelming urge that makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck, it makes you just feel fucking free and like invincible and fucking like you can do anything. Like it's fucking, that's the important part, and that's what metal does for a lot of fucking people. And that's what I think in a big bad way makes it very different than any other form of music.
Yeah.
I
mean,
yeah.
I've been going through it the last couple months, and like, it's like that's always been the thing, like even today, shit, like, I was kind of like feeling it, kind of like down on it or whatever, and then like, I was like, you know what, like, just put out Hatebreed, and just like just did what I had to do and stuff, and like it just, I don't know, like that's it for me, like.
Yeah. Me too, dude. Me too. Like that's exact same fucking thing. Like I'm not fucking you know what? Fuck this. Throw this on right now.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, that'll get you going if nothing else will. Like it's just I'm just so happy it exists. And we have this thing. I don't fucking care, who gets it or who doesn't. We do.
No.
That's all that matters. Like, man, it's so fucking cool. It's so fucking cool.
And it's only like, think of like how many times have you looked at like a recap of like albums that are like 10 years old or whatever?
Just today.
Yeah.
You saw that one today where Wrath was 10 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, really?
Like think
Fuck.
of, that was 10 years ago, it's 20 years ago, like think of all the advancements and stuff, and like it's gotten so much, it's gotten a lot worse, sure, but as far as like quality and as far as like the, it's like content and stuff, but it's also gotten way better and way, further ahead than
like none. That's why like I'm happy that the range exists. I might not like every subgenre, but I'm happy it's there.
Yeah.
And I don't want, like, there should be no subgenre battling between this is better. Fuck it. It's all just metal, and it's all fucking. I might not like it all, but it's all fucking good because it's metal.
No.
Like, god damn it. Like it's. There was a point in time where there were two metal bands. You know what I mean? There was a point in time where there was only like 5 to 10 to pick from.
Yeah.
Like you could be, you know what I mean? Now we have hundreds and hundreds, and it's just the family's just getting bigger. That's how I look at it.
Not only do we have access to everything that's going on in the States, but we can find stuff that's going on across the world in a second.
Yep.
Moment's notice or whatever.
That fucking just, dude. And, granted, I knew of them because of Michigan Metal Fest, but even if I didn't, that Accursed Creator band, they have 4 songs out, but they're fucking killers. Every one of those songs, and hopefully they got more music coming, they said, this year, so... I mean, that's a perfect example. Some random band in Florida that only has 4 songs out. Well, guess what? They fucking rule. They fucking rule.
Yeah.
How many fucking people have listened to Bog Wraith? You know what I mean? From other parts of the world. The Recorruptor. You know what I mean? Like, shit, man. It's, so fucking awesome. Just awesome. Because out of all of it, there's gonna be a lot of shit, but there's gonna be gold too. There's gonna be a lot of diamonds in the rough, lots of them.
And for a while, it's I feel like it was kind of at a standstill, especially more so like the and into like 2014 or 15 or whatever, you know, everything kind of started to sound kind of samey or whatever. But there's always that, like, you know, there's always somebody out there trying to reinvent the wheel, kind of, and
Dude,
you know,
I'm gonna talk about evolution of things. When we started this podcast, you and I did whole episodes about how like metal isn't really doing anything right now.
yeah.
And here we are at the end of year one, like, oh, we were fucking wrong.
Yeah.
We were dumb fucks. Not that we're not dumb fucks still. Not that you should take anything we're saying, but fucking A. Like, I feel like the world of metal blasted open to me once when I was a kid, and I feel like it just did it again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't stagnant. I was. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know. I feel like in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm rediscovering it. Not like totally, but a lot of bands I am discovering for the first time that are like just fucking classics. And like Dahlia, you know what I mean? But it's just, I don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but you know, I always find it interesting when people say, like, you know, oh, there's nothing going on, or like they can't find anything. It's like, dude,
Not looking.
If you type in on Google like you know, Italian like thrash metal, or you know, whatever, there's probably something that comes up. You
Kaiju
know?
metal.
Yeah.
Pirate metal. Viking metal.
Yeah.
Goblin metal.
You know, like different parts of the world and stuff have different sounds. You know, Sweden.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the difference between, you know, because, you know, I think more, you know, like Italian death metal, or like just Italian metal in general, is like fast as shit, apparently. You know, like
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
You know, like Flesh God, you know,
Oh,
think like
okay.
super, you know, wall of sound, like machine gun type stuff.
Okay.
You know, and then, you know, go to Sweden. What do you got?
Fucking necrophobic. Fucking
yeah.
got your tribulation arch enemy.
Yeah.
Carcass.
And it's such a different sound, but it's still heavy. You know, it's still
So good.
metal. You know?
Extremely melodic. I mean, honestly, out of all like the specific other country sounds, Swedish is my favorite by far. I like more Swedish metal bands than yeah. I like a lot of them.
Yeah.
I love Swedish metal. And you know what else? It's a dream of mine to go to a fucking concert in Europe or a place like Sweden because they do things differently.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they do they sing along to the guitar like, oh,
yeah, dude.
They do that shit way like all the time in Europe. And it's just, you know, it almost makes me want to do it at the next Bodum concert, because I always feel like when they come here and we don't do it, it's got to make them feel like, why aren't they doing that? Like, what the fuck?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty different in terms of like the reaction and response and stuff. You know, like, yeah, because we're not really like, you know, it's a lot of this happening.
There's a lot of phones in the air, yeah. You know, and it's disappointing because I mean, it's not. It's interesting actually. Someone should look at this. Like the my favorite version of Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden is live at Rock in Rio. Live Rock in Rio. I can't remember what year it came out, but that version and the video of that song, them doing that song live, gives me goosebumps every time. Like that is my favorite version of that song that exists. And I saw them after that happened. And when they played Fear of the Dark for us live, everyone did it.
Yeah.
So I almost wonder if that had an effect to make like the American audience do that for them, you know, or if it happened back in the day, I don't know. Because I saw Maiden for the first time in 2006, I think. But yeah.
I wonder if it's like the style of band too, like the style that comes out of that area.
Well, I mean, I think Europe in general does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a thing over there, and it's not as much over here. And yeah, I don't. If there are definitely bands like Bodum, there are definitely bands like that. Dimmu. Yeah, there are definitely bands that I think it would enhance the overall concert experience because I love doing that shit. So
well, and seeing that on that Amon Amarth thing we were watching.
yeah, that's a good example.
The rowboat thing that they do. Everyone sits down and just starts rowing. Like that would never happen, and it might, but
I think it did when they were opening for Bodum, but like not everyone did it, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I bet at the next show because
yeah,
of that DVD
probably,
and all this stuff. Like,
but it wouldn't be something that would just happen.
No, it kind of needs to be
here.
prompted.
Yeah.
Like, so there has to be it has to be like in the zeitgeist for people to know,
Yeah.
Because probably, what? Well, no, he probably gives actual direction to do it. I was gonna say they probably don't do the jump thing at Slipknot, but Corey Taylor probably tells everyone to get down.
That's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
But I mean, same kind of crowd thing.
But imagine it for a band like Devil Driver or Lamb of God that goes over to Europe and they start doing it over there. It's like, holy shit, this is awesome! Like, I thought they only did this for Iron Maiden. Like, but like on the Arch Enemy live, they do it for Arch Enemy.
Yeah.
And that was in Japan. That was in Japan. I didn't even think about that. That's crazy. Yeah. That's something we should start it here. We should just start doing it. Bog Wraith. Make a song that is good for that.
There's some catchy stuff on the horizon.
Ooh.
I will say that.
Catchy stuff on the horizon for Bog Wraith. Very exciting. Very exciting. Oh shit, you wanna wrap this one up? You think we've covered everything?
2.5 hours. Yeah, I think we're
anything else you're thinking of that you want to go over? We've got everything on my list at least, so yeah. We could wrap this up.
Watch Letterkenny.
Watch Letterkenny. It's a great show. Letterkenny on Hulu or DailyMotion.com.
You'll start speaking like a Canadian in no time. Because I already have.
That's fine. Well, we're like more than halfway there.
Yeah,
so
we're
here in Michigan.
That's true. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that's like
all right.
Me, yeah.
We'll bring this one in. Thank you everyone for listening. We love you all. Make sure to follow Aaron on Facebook and Instagram. Bog Wraith. Follow all that stuff. Follow that. Check out Bog Wraith on YouTube. They got a lot of stuff on YouTube and Bandcamp. Check out Bandcamp. Check out all. You know what? Check out Bog Wraith while you're there. Check out your own local musicians. If you're not from the Lansing, Michigan area, fucking check out some whoever's in your local town on Bandcamp. It's a great resource.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
And may or may not see some new stuff in the coming months. Possibly.
Color me excited. Color me excited. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So keep an eye on the Bog Wraith fucking Instagram, the fucking Facebook, the YouTube for some potential new music in the near future. Also on their Bandcamp are you guys still working on like some new T-shirt designs and stuff? That coming? You got a like symbol.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be on a T-shirt or something soon?
We're
working on it. All right. Yeah. Well, hopefully some new merch soon.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Definitely do that. Go on Bandcamp for yourself. Check out some of your own local musicians.
Find something new this week.
Yeah. Make it a fucking priority. Find a new band for yourself this week. Get something new. Get into something new, for Christ's sake. It's 2019. What are you fucking around for?
Yeah.
Let's get moving.
Figure it out.
It's time to get shit. Time to fucking enjoy and destroy, motherfuckers. I made that up the other day. I kind of like it. And yeah, make sure to follow this podcast on YouTube, on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is lots and lots of content, though. That's the one you really want to follow. And yeah, that's about it. We'll bring this one in. Thank you very much for listening. We love you all. Good night.